Hey, what's up?
What's up, my brother?
How's it going?
How you doing?
Good.
I was gonna play some DJ Quick, but I didn't know what part of Cali he's from.
Ah, so there's a story there. I don't know if you know this, but I am actually a son of New York, from right around the way probably from you. I'm from Queens originally.
Really?
Yes,
So how in the heck you get up there?
a
Okay,
girl, of
wait, wait,
course.
wait, wait, wait. Hold it. We're gonna get there. So let's take it from the top.
Hmm.
Introduce yourself, the name of your company, and where you are, and then I'll take it back.
Sure. My name is Cedrick Gousse. I'm 36 years old. My company is Bearcrafted. We're a furniture design slash other uh, building company.
So
And
what's your zodiac sign?
Aries. I'm shocked that I know that.
And you're the son
uh,
of.
oh, I don't even know. Once it gets into the extra stuff, I'm just like, I don't know what.
No, your mom and dad, man. Come on.
Oh, my mom. Yeah, my mom was Denise DeCastro, pediatrician over in New York for many years, all over Long Island. And my dad is Reginald. He's an engineer, also from there. Both Haitian
Right.
immigrants.
Beautiful. Now, Cedar
Yeah.
Ford just he pegged it. He goes, he likes long walks in the park.
Well, if it's bike rides, I'm not a walker. Ugh. Although it's funny that he says that because we went to Muir Woods with some family that are visiting, so today was literally a long walk in the park.
All right, cool. So we're gonna get into some questions
Sure.
to get to know you a little bit, and after that, we'll get into your journey and your process and how you got to where you are.
Yeah, sure. Shoot.
If you had the opportunity, would you go to the moon?
I would help put other people on the moon, but I don't know if I'd be in that first opportunity.
Why not?
I'm more of a what is it, second or third generation adopter. Not the. I never want to be the first touch subject.
But there have been people on the moon already. You won't be the first.
I know, but commercially, if you're putting people on the moon commercially, that's going to be a whole different thing.
It is.
Elon and his whatever, 200 people that he's going to bring up there can try it first, and then I'll follow.
All right, I'm with you. What word or phrase do you overuse?
I say seriously a lot.
Okay. Even when you're not serious?
Yes. Usually when I'm exasperated.
Got it. What is your least favorite thing to do?
Oh, taxes.
Now, let me be clear about something. Make sure you do.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's get that out of the way.
I'm sorry, but a lot of things in life are doing things that you don't like sometimes. So still do them.
Yes.
My wife is very good at taxes. Does a lot of taxes.
That's good. That's good. What is your most favorite thing to do?
Build and figure out how things go together.
Okay. What is the one thing your wife would like to change about you?
Probably that when I go like in the zone, no one can reach me. My eyes just completely glaze over, and people be talking to me. I don't even remember what they said. I'm just like, I'm sorry, I'm working out a problem right now.
Okay. What makes you tick?
Figuring out why things work the way they do according to like a set of natural laws.
Right. What irks you the most?
When things don't follow logical laws.
Speaking of that, how are you handling COVID?
I am handling COVID surprisingly well. My lifestyle was very kind of off on my own path, so I haven't been in an office setting or anything for a long time. And when that happened, I was like, okay, so I have to work from my home slash shop, which I already do. I have to, mostly stay away from other people, which I usually do in work unless I'm working closely with like one or two other people. And yeah, so my life didn't change as much as a lot of other people.
Okay.
So we're surviving. I got a new, a almost newborn son late last year. So that the parenthood journey has definitely added some strange dimensions to the whole situation. But
Congrats.
it's really fun. Thank you, thank you.
Newborn son.
Yeah, he's not newborn anymore. Now he's 20 months of
Yes,
curiosity and and energy. And
that's a good thing.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
What sound makes you happiest?
Uh, ooh, what's a satisfying sound? The sound of something well built, like my truck door compared to the door on my old truck has like a gasket. So when that thing shuts, it sounds like a bank vault door shutting. It's just like a very solid, and you can just tell that it's made well. And I'm like, that's good.
Okay. What sound bothers you the most?
Anything wet.
What profession other than your own would you like to try?
Race car driver.
Okay. What kind?
Uh,
You want Formula?
ooh, I'm thinking I
NASCAR?
want Formula.
Okay.
I'm thinking I want Formula.
All right.
I'm going to be out there that fast. I want like the most grip and handling possible.
Okay. Do you race cars?
No, I drive probably way too fast, like everybody else here in California. But
All right. What would you want on your
I do
tune?
race. Go ahead.
You do race what?
Bicycles. We do a lot of crit racing, so that's like NASCAR on bikes, basically. It's fun,
Like
super aggressive.
road bikes?
Yes, but we do short course with a lot of technical turns, and it's really fun.
Okay. What kind of bike do you have?
It's a specialized LA. Let me see if I can. You up? It's sitting right here.
All right, cool. And how long have you been racing?
12 years.
Wow.
Yeah, for a while.
How often do you race?
Maybe 7, 8 times a year now. When I first started, it was like every week, 2 races a week. So let's see. What part of New
I
York are you from?
Yonkers?
Or in Yonkers?
Yonkers. Yep.
That's where you're at now.
Yeah.
What's the closest race to there? White Plains. There's a crit in White Plains that we race every year on almost on the 4th of July. Really fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was looking at some videos of some dudes in San Francisco on skateboards flying down hills.
Yeah. Probably like Lombard Street and some of the other really steep streets here.
Crazy. These guys
Yeah,
had
I
to be
look at
going 40, 50 miles an hour.
yeah. And there's no amount of regular clothing that can protect you if you touch the ground.
None.
It's
None.
crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the thing that really amazed me, they were all colored. There was no white boys out there.
Oh, occasionally you see a white boy out there, but yeah,
And I think this is probably the neighborhood it was in the group of people
uh-huh.
that were filming it. Now, I'm sure
Yeah.
there are that do it, but I'm talking about the particular video I saw. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I like that. I remember watching what was it, the X Games when I was a teenager, and at the time there was only like one black kid. This was the Winter X Games. There was one black kid who was dominating. I think his name was Ben something, and he came in second at the X Games. And it was like a big thing because he was like a black snowboarder. And now you see like all kinds of kids, all ages, fucking getting it out there and really having a good time, and getting that exposure. So it's good.
Absolutely. What do you want on your tombstone?
Oh man, I haven't even thought about that. I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead.
Okay.
Hopefully that's very far away from now.
God willing.
Uh-huh.
What is it about your personality that drives your business?
I am pretty relentless when it comes to what the finished quality of my work is. So I don't tend to let things go unless it's already at like a really high level, higher than most of the other people I'm competing against.
Okay. What is it about your personality that hinders your business?
I want to please everyone. No question.
Yeah, that could be a problem.
Yeah.
Who would you travel cross country with on a motorcycle?
Probably my wife. We used to ride around on a motorcycle when we met. We met in Manhattan at South Street Seaport, and we were living down there. So we used to get everywhere on a motorcycle. And she rode, she just hopped on the back and like off we went. So yeah, she might be down for that, I guess.
That's pretty. What was your favorite concert?
Say again?
What was your favorite concert?
I don't go to see live music too much. The last one I saw was Lupe Fiasco in concert. He was really good.
How long ago?
Must have been 2012. So yeah, it was a while.
All right. Yeah, that's when he was. That's when it was Lupe.
Dude, he was crushing, and then he like went to go do like study Bushido, like sword play again for a while, and I haven't heard from him since.
Yeah, he's on some other stuff right now.
Yeah. Aren't we all?
Yes, aren't we all?
Yeah.
When was the last time you cried?
Last year, my mom passed away, and it was after a long struggle with illness. So,
Sorry to hear that.
yeah, thanks.
When was the most difficult time in your business, and how did you overcome it?
Ooh, there's been a couple of these. I think whenever how do I say? I feel like in business you always have this thing where you're like ramping up, and your tools and your skill set are just enough for the challenge that you're going to take next. And whenever that happens, you have like just enough. So you have to kind of pass through the eye of this needle before you get the rewards from that, or whatever, the rewards, the money, the opportunities from that job that's like just on the edge to kind of level you up. So whenever I've hit that in a major way, it's always been really difficult. And those are always the times when I've been most close to like just quitting and being like, oh, enough.
Okay. What impact do you want to leave on the industry? On your industry?
So we'll get into this more later, but I'm actually transitioning between industries right now. And I want to do something that is repeatable for people who don't necessarily just have all the money in the world. I've worked for really, really high-end clients, and that's been rewarding in its way, but the impact of that just doesn't spread very far. A lot of my work is in places where no one will ever. Some people will see it, but not everyone, and not everyone who does not have economic means will even be able to appreciate it, let alone enjoy it. So I want to do something.
Okay. Do you have any white friends?
Oh, tons.
I figured that, but the other one is, do you have any black friends?
I have fewer black friends than I have white friends. and that came because I went to school. I lived in Queens, but I crossed the border to Nassau County. I'm gonna call. Hi. My wife pulled up the garage door. She wanted to see what I was doing. I
Tell her,
crossed.
come on in and say hello.
Oh, she's shy. She left. I crossed over to Nassau County, which is like mostly white, rich area, to go to private school there. And you know, being the kid on financial aid who's borrowed a ton of money in a very, very rich private school that's a trip. So it's a good learning experience.
All right. Do you often see people of color in your industry?
No, not
How do we change
often
that?
at all. I sort of feel like the only way is to open all the boundaries, right? Like you can't open it for one group and say, oh, we're going to focus on this one group, because all that ends up doing is creating like a bunch of programs that other people who are either in the industry already resent, or you leave out other people. So you really have to be like, this is for everybody, and here's why.
Okay. Who would you most like to have a conversation with?
What would I think? I think it would be a toss-up between Barack Obama or Joseph Eichler, famous architect from the 50s and 60s.
Why Barack Obama?
I feel like he has been in that same environment where he is a very intelligent person and can kind of see around corners when people are trying to, mess with him or play him, and he's had to bite his. I feel like he's had to bite his tongue a lot. That's what it is, and to get where he is, and I would love to like engage with him on like that level where I understand that environment that you're coming from.
Yeah, he's quite diplomatic and quite sustainable.
Yeah.
So
right, exactly.
I think, I'm not sure if, and this is just my opinion, I'm not sure if he's biting his tongue, because what if that's who he is? See, you wanted him to be like you and me.
Uh-huh.
And maybe he's not. Maybe that's who he is.
Oh, you're saying like maybe, yeah. No, I don't think there's anything wrong with taking the high road and stuff, but like, at least from what I've read from books, his books about him and books that mention him, there have been times where he's like privately very frustrated with what's going on, but his hands are tied about, can't move in one direction or the other. So it would be interesting to hear what that was like from somebody who looks more like me.
I'm with you. Yeah. And I also think Michelle is the smarter of the two.
Yes, for sure.
Again, just my opinion.
Yeah, every couple has that duo, right? He's the high level, probably idealistic guy, and she's like the on the ground, practical, get it done person. So there's no way he's in that office without her.
No question. And I think the same thing for like Steffi Graf and Andre Agassi.
Oh, interesting. I don't know much about them.
I would really like to know, what is it like in the backyard playing tennis?
Yeah, right. Like, does it get competitive?
Right. Like, what's really going down?
Yeah. let me reach over here and grab the baby monitor. I gotta keep an eye on. Got my little guy off sleeping with like 12 stuffed animals around him.
All right, cool. So now let's get into your journey.
Okay.
Let's take it from high school to the different things that led to where you are now. College, if there was college, or a job, if there were jobs. The whole process that's got you to where you are now. Okay, first, why bear?
My wife calls me Bear, and I'm sort of bear-like. I'm like, 6 foot, probably about 260, and somewhat muscular. So she calls me Bear.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. So high school, like I said, super exclusive private school. Not the most financially able person in that school, so that was a learning experience to watch people around me.
You said you were not the most liked person in there?
No, financially free. Took out a lot of loans to just even get in that school, and it was a learning experience about how to not take things personally. And you watch all your friends turn 16, and everybody gets a Benz or a Beamer for a Sweet 16 present, and you get like $20 to go to the movies or something. And
Same here.
Yeah, exactly. But you gotta just let that stuff roll off you. And I got really good at doing that. Got into a great school, went to Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, which is upstate New York, near Albany, and studied electronic media there, which was a humanities major at an engineering school in its second year of the program ever. So they had sort of no idea what they were doing. After the first year of general education, I was basically just like turned loose with all the school resources at my fingertips, but no curriculum. I mean, there was one, but it was mostly like independent study, like do what you want. So I spent that time doing a lot of research and learning. I had always thought I was going to be in video games. That was where my heart really was. I wanted to be a video game designer, and ended up becoming a visual effects artist. Like right out of school, jumped back to New York, got into some of the post-production houses down there, and started doing visual effects for movies, commercials. What do they call them? Pill and bottle commercials. We did a lot.
Wait a second.
A lot.
I introduced you to Lyndon Burroughs, right?
I think so. Is he in that group chat that we were all in? Yeah, I didn't get to talk to him very much, but
you need to.
Does he have a similar background?
He did The Matrix Reloaded.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh man, so he's probably one of my heroes, because he was. Yeah. That sounds like he's a little bit earlier in his career than I was.
Yeah, he's the real deal.
Yeah. I followed in those footsteps. Did that for almost 12 years. Moved from that to doing music videos and worked with some names you might know, and then worked on films for Blue Sky Studios just before.
Okay, so whose music videos?
Kanye's and Beyonce's at one time or another, and those were like the two big ones. But we did a lot of smaller, independent artist stuff kind of through the years. But
Very
that
nice.
was that whole period was when I really learned how to like work for myself and treat myself like a company instead of working for somebody, because like that industry has all kinds of labor issues. They like to overwork people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like I'm sure Lyndon will tell you, like they just overwork people and basically throw them away when they're used up. So a lot of us became freelance and we bounced from house to house. I worked for like almost 60 companies during my career in that industry, and that taught me like, okay, you gotta like be a professional, enjoy your work, but be a professional about it. Don't just get so wrapped up in the passion that you get abused right out the gate.
And
So
lost.
yeah, for sure.
So,
So where does that put us?
say it again.
I said, where does that put us? 20. I think that puts us at 2012 or 2013. So I'd been out of school for a while, and yeah, I just got tired. That's the
Got
truth.
burnt out?
I got burnt out. Yeah, me and my wife were my wife at this point. Were living still in Manhattan, running up and down all over the place, trying to maintain these two pretty like great white collar jobs. But we had no time to spend any of the money that we were making. We hardly saw each other for the 3 years that we'd been married. And one day we just looked at each other and we're like, I'm tired. Are you tired? I'm exhausted. And she's from California, and we came out here for Christmas, and we just looked around and we're like, this was always our someday option, but why don't we just like go now? And that's how we ended up out here.
Okay, how did you meet?
On eHarmony, if anybody remembers that dating site from from the early 2000s.
Okay. So, did you fly to Cali or you drove?
We flew to see her family for Christmas, and then a year later, she had found an opportunity out here near her parents' place in Sacramento, and she flew out here and started working, and I basically like packed up and sold our whole life back to New York, and me and the dog hopped in our Volkswagen GTI and drove cross country. It was crazy, but it was a really fun adventure.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you get to Sacramento?
Yes.
Then what?
Exactly. That's the question I was asking myself, because there's no visual effects industry in Sacramento. Like the closest, there's a couple of houses in San Francisco, which is about an hour and 40 minutes maybe away, and then all the real industry is in LA. And at that point, I was so burnt out. I knew if I end up moving near LA, yeah, I probably will get back into that industry, but I won't like it. So this was like our way of choosing a different path and like just don't make it an option. So we got here, and I was working. What was I doing? I was working at a bike shop, doing just wrenching and selling bikes. And in our spare time, we were renting a house. I got this really rusty Delta table saw with the intention of building a desk. We had no furniture. Like I showed up with this GTI with like our blender, our dog, our TV, and some comforters and some other stuff, and we had no furniture. So the first 2 months we just like worked from the floor, like all the computers and everything are on the floor. And then Linda's like, "We need some furniture," and I'm like, "Oh, don't worry, I can build something. I know how things go together." So I get this rusty saw, and I build a desk. And the desk was great because now we're off the floor. Now it was a big improvement for us. And the desk was successful. So I built an entry table, and then I built a chair, and then I built. Now we're getting some actual furniture. So then I start like, oh, this thing that I'm doing is called woodworking. Oh, wow, okay. So I learned that word, and I'm like, just fell into that community. I started watching YouTube stuff and going to all the local woodworking stores, just like inhaling as much as I possibly could. And I think my neighbor needed a present for a wedding that they were going to or something, and I made them a cutting board. And it was like, they were so overjoyed to get this cutting board. And I didn't really know them that well, but all the other neighbors saw it in the circle that we were in, and they are all wanting cutting boards. So I make like, I don't know, 8, 9 cutting boards, and then that turns into like suddenly I'm working and building cutting boards for everybody, and started selling them. I got on Etsy, started selling all that stuff, and I built somebody a coffee table, and I was like, oh, this designing stuff is not hard. I've been doing design for like how many years since I was a kid, basically, and I started making like these really wild, out there coffee table designs, just trying stuff because I don't know what works and what doesn't, and what looks good and what doesn't, according to traditional woodworking rules. So all my designs look really different, and people really like them. So that's kind of how I got into this building trade.
Okay, so I don't know where I got San Fran from. So are you in San Fran or no?
I'm about 30 minutes east of San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
like
counts.
East Bay, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, that counts. Right.
Yeah.
And we'll
Okay.
talk. I'll be up there in October, and I'm gonna
Oh,
need
really?
some hands. Yeah.
Oh man, we gotta meet. We gotta meet up.
Oh, you know where I'm going
Uh-huh.
to the big video games place, Zynga.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Why?
I got tables there.
Oh wow. Okay. Awesome.
So, and I'm gonna need some help.
Okay.
So, we'll work that out later.
Okay. Let's work it out.
So, what was your coolest project?
Oh. I feel like I should probably. So I'm gonna finish the path to today so that you understand, because that gets us only to like 2016 or so, right?
Bring us home.
Yeah, okay, I'll bring you home. All right, so I'm building stuff, building everybody, and that's going reasonably well for a new business. It's struggling, but it's struggling along upwards, so that's all good. And then an interior designer from nowhere just finds me online, and she gets me this restaurant client, who is now a very good friend of mine today, who was starting a restaurant, and they just wanted to build all their tables inside the restaurant, and also like one showpiece that would be really amazing for them. So I built them a center, a long community table. It seats 10 people, and there's a picture of it on my Instagram, but it's almost 11 feet long, and 10.5 feet of it is complete cantilever. Like it just sticks out like this, completely unsupported. There's like a steel substructure covered with wood, and it was like a huge hit. So I built that and all their other smaller tables in there, and since then we've just been continuing to build more and more ambitious things. So they came back and were like, we want a 60-foot wraparound vertical garden for our back patio. So I like engineered this thing that has like drainage and all these like planter boxes and irrigation, and each one of the boxes are irrigated and drained, and they harvest all of their microgreens and stuff that they actually serve from that wall.
Nice.
So that in itself was like a baby's first construction project, and I got no respect from any of the other guys who were actually building the restaurant. But over time, watching me show up every day with my little tools and like trying to make it get done, they came around, and I got some contacts out of that. So after that was all done, a year and a half passed. I was just doing random higher level stuff now because I've expanded a little bit, but still kind of the furniture stuff. And that restaurant client came back to me again and was like, we have another project, but you should hear what it is first. And basically they asked me to build a 3,600 square foot covered atrium for them. So like basically a building, and project manage that for them. And I was like, you can't find anybody else to do this? And it turned out like we just trusted each other. Like we were at that point in the relationship where they trust me with their money and like executing at a high level these really crazy things that other people might not necessarily do, and
I charge too much for it.
or charge far too much for it. Yeah, yeah. And we got it done. It wasn't just me. Like we did, you know, we had an architect on board and structural engineer and all the trades that you could even imagine. But the spark at the beginning, it has to be powered by passion. Like when it's some oddball idea like that, that's not just a four-sided box. It has to be somebody who like believes that this can be done. And I was that person for that project. So it got built over the next 2 years, and it was like just falling down the rabbit hole all over again with construction, and really falling in love with that whole process. That all my furniture work had prepared me for, but like that was just like another canvas that's like you're just free to build bigger, more long-lasting stuff. It's really fun. So yeah, that building finished in November of 2019. Beautiful event space with an all glass, all polycarbonate roof, and two huge stadium openings that like open like this. They create an opening that's like 20 feet by 18 feet or something, and there's two of them.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's all like HVAC and fire suppression and like everything, the full thing, and then COVID comes and just punches the whole thing in the face. So they can't use that space right now. It's sitting completely dark, but it is built and it was a really beautiful project. So hopefully things turn around for them
And you finished it in November?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, just checking with that, because trying to finish stuff now and COVID hitting, people don't get paid.
Yeah. Yeah. There was even some punch list stuff that was still going on in January, and I like ran over there to go finish it because I saw that this thing was coming, and things were just going to get real difficult in construction for a while till everything settled out. I think it's getting better now, but the types of jobs have changed. Like those kind of spaces where people are, you know, you got 30, 40 people in a small space working, sharing tools, all that stuff. That doesn't happen anymore. Yeah.
No more.
No more.
Okay. So that brings us to
That
now.
brings us to today. Yes.
Okay. Right. So
that's why I said I'm like transitioning between those two industries, you know, like furniture is definitely my first love, but I feel like construction is where I'm meant to be. That's where I feel like I'm engaging everything that I have to give as a builder.
I tell people all the time, you can have your vision for what you think the business will be, but the business will tell you what it's going to be. And all you got to do is listen.
Absolutely.
All you got to do is listen.
Yeah. I feel like I've been not listening for a while and trying to force it to be something. And then when COVID came, it just like stripped away everything that wasn't true. It was like, no, you're not going to just do high-end furniture because like that's just not only who you are. You can do it, but I have more to give. So, yeah.
So you want to get into more public spaces?
I want to get more into doing tackling sustainable housing for small homes. And I noticed I didn't say affordable housing because there's like, at least in construction, there's like the connotation that that's just very cheap builder grade housing that can be built. But I want like people who are, you know, two working parent families here in San Francisco at least cannot find houses at a reasonable price. And they're doing all kinds of other workarounds, you know, trying to live in tiny homes, trying to live in RVs, trying to commute from an hour and a half away just to have a life and work in this area, and that just is not right, you know. So I feel like I can make an impact there.
And how do you do that?
So I want to build a small line of homes, and I want to kind of create a toolkit. Construction has been, at least with my outsider's eyes, construction has been being done basically unchanged for almost 60 years. We're still doing stick-built framing, which is incredibly wasteful from a materials and labor standpoint. We're still blowing in tons of fiberglass and stuff as insulation. And, you know, there are other companies that are trying to do it differently, but the adoption rate in the trades is very slow for new technology.
And what do you suggest?
I suggest trying to bring all of those newer technologies under one roof and finding a way to get them to play nice together. So I'm at a place now where I am still so small that I'm free to turn my ship. You know, I can turn my if I can try something and evaluate it and make sure it works, and if I find something better, I can immediately implement that into the next project that I'm building. Whereas other people, they have large crews, they've got infrastructure around their business that makes it just hard to readopt a new process. So, I mean, we on our own, we're hoping to develop 1,000 square foot model home that we can attract some opportunities with, and maybe some investment.
So, would these be single, or would they be like apartment buildings?
No, they're single family homes, but they are 1,000 square feet. When you get into custom homes and homes that are one-offs, almost always the floor plans are enormous. You know, 2,000, 3,000 square foot homes for 11,000 and up square foot lots in my particular area. And then all the people who cannot afford that at, you know, 550,000 plus are forced to live in, you know, not very well put together multifamily apartments on the way edge of town. They're just kind of shoved off there. So,
all right, Sojourner Works, are you thinking it will be built on site or fabricated off site?
I'm still thinking it would be built on site, but a lot of the fabrication, so we're looking at some companies that do a lot of prefabrication off site, especially for the framing step, where you can get a bunch of prefabricated components that all bolt together. So we've looked at some wood, like they'll come as big panels on trucks, and they already have the windows and everything framed in. The door openings are all framed in. So you're really focused on the corners and making sure all the joints are working properly. But that's it. And then we've also looked at steel structures, which are, you know, light gauge steel framing, similar to what you would do in commercial. In commercial construction, they use that stuff a lot. But in residential, it just hasn't made it there because the numbers don't work out. So there are some companies that are interested in kind of pushing into that low residential market and creating something else.
So I asked about land because there's enough available land in San Francisco that's affordable for you to do that?
In my part of San Francisco, yes. In the East Bay, there's plenty of land. The problem is creating something that's usable on one, like an oddly shaped lot sometimes, or a sloped lot is very difficult. And then the permitting process is also very, very expensive here. It's very time consuming, and a lot of projects just fail or need massive amounts of administrative overhead. So I'm thinking if we can get a floor plan that we can have all laid out, you know, all the drawings and everything, and know that it's permittable in some of the hardest areas around here, then we can go to really any building department and be like, hey, look, Napa or Walnut Creek was able to permit this, and they have far more stringent regulations than you do. And that will remove some of that overhead from the project and let it go further on a smaller budget.
Okay. So when you design these homes,
Mm-hmm.
will you also design the furniture as well because you're a furniture guy, or will you leave that to something else?
I think that it's going to end up being all the, how would you say, built-in place furniture. So all your countertops in our floor plan that we're looking at, our island it's very large. I want to say it's like 10 by 3, but it's actually 2 10 by 1.5 strips that bolt together. So you can unbolt them and separate them and move them to the walls and use them as like a bar cart, or you can even push them, outside of the building and use them as an outdoor table. So you're using that same form factor in multiple different ways. So I think that is stuff that we can build in-house, and that will also help save instead of going to find another company to try and build them. But I don't know. Go ahead.
You go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was saying I don't know if we're going to be doing like big custom slab dining tables and all that. That may be something that I separately spin off into a smaller business if I find the right person who's just really focused on that, or me from like 3 years ago. Might be something great for them to tackle. But I'm focused on getting somebody who could not otherwise be in that building to have it and have a comfortable, modern, beautiful space at something that they can afford.
Yeah, and big slab tables are luxury. So.
Right. Yeah. Having a house is a huge luxury here, and even if we develop this the way I want it to be, it's not going to be cheap, but it will be able to be afforded by somebody who's working in this area.
Okay. All right. We have 9 minutes. You want to give us a tour?
I can sort of give you a tour.
You don't have to. It's your call.
Well, since I'm in my shop right now, this has been functioning as a tool crib more than an actual shop. It's just like I walk in here, grab whatever tool I'm taking on the road that day, and take it to site. But
Yeah,
I have a big 5x10 CNC router.
Nice.
That thing has served me so well, and I've done so many large-scale projects on it. So if we get into doing built-ins and shelves and other stuff, it would be great to also design those in the same way, where I can lay down a sheet of plywood and literally cut out all the shelves for our model homes or jigs or all kinds of other stuff.
Very nice.
Got another workbench over there, and there's some remnants of a mask making project that I was doing for when COVID started. We put out almost 1,800 pieces of PPE for local people. We just got a bunch of 3D printers in here, and like everything was all masked off with plastic, and we were there to fill a need when it was going on, but now there's other people who are doing it better, so we've let a lot of that go.
Yep, I'm with you.
And let me show you. So the other thing that I didn't tell you is I need to get a general contractor's license with the direction that I'm heading in. So I'm going to be studying for that. I think for the next year and a half while I do smaller projects under other people.
What does that require?
So for a general contractor's license, you need to be able to prove that you have experience in the thing that you're applying for. For 4 years out of the past 10 years. You need to have demonstrable experience, either through building permits or through people who actually have the license you're applying for. So basically, I have enough through my project management stuff that I could get, a couple of contractors to vouch for me for those 2 years, but I still need another roughly year and a half worth of experience. So anything, when you're a homeowner, you know, you can build stuff as an owner builder. So I've been working on my house a lot. We just put in, this is my house behind me. It's big.
Yeah.
And it was a, it was a crazy
What's behind
pile
you?
of junk. It's a huge pine tree.
What's
Here,
behind that
I'll
pine
show you.
tree?
Just the fence line back there.
All right.
Fence line, and there's a swing on the tree and stuff. But the lot itself is really huge, and the house is pretty big. Like, that's the property line way back there.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's
That is
large
big.
enough that I can move stuff around. But when we bought it, it was a pile of junk. Like, the last guy who was here had basically been accruing junk and broken projects and doing unpermitted work. So he expanded the house and didn't permit it. So it was kind of a dumpster fire, I believe was the term that our real estate agent used. And, you know, he just wanted to sell it, no inspections, no nothing. And we just jumped out on the ledge and got it. And since then, for the past 3 years, I've just been ripping all the junk out. And it's broken my back, literally, but it's finally coming.
So he wanted to sell it, no permit as is, meaning it
Yep.
was a deal.
Yep. Well, no, it was a real estated deal, but like, or an agent-led deal, but basically they couldn't list the property as what it actually was. They were forced to list it as a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, which was what the original house was, and then he added on a bunch of extensions and then never finished the actual final permit. So it's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, and it was forced to sell under what it was. And then there was like electrical work, and the roof was slightly falling in, and there were all these concrete pillars that he had started a huge fence, but then didn't put the pillars down far enough, and they all fell over. So they're like 1,400 pounds each, and a whole bunch of them fell over. So we had to get an excavator here and, like, you know, throw them all away. It was like almost 20 tons of concrete we threw away out of here. So yeah, it's been a journey, but all of this is just experience. I'm just trying to inhale and, like, you know, have enough money, do enough work that I can survive and pay for this place, but try to gain as much learning as I can as quickly as I can.
Cool. What kind of forklift is that in the back?
It's a Baker FJF060, which was like a agricultural forklift that they built for Baker and also for the United States Army back in the 50s and 60s. So
did that come with the property, or did you get that?
No, I got it, and I got it thinking that I would do all this stuff and lift all these things with lift all the slabs that I was doing, all these slab tables. I'd be carrying them around, and then moved into construction and literally never had time to use it. So it's been sitting, but it runs really well. It's converted over to propane, and yeah, it runs.
Yeah, once you keep going, you use it again.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. I'm sure I will find a use for it again. I need to get a trailer, but once we get going in the home building, it'll be a key piece of equipment to have.
Yep.
I want to also get a crane. I want to get a very small spider crane that they have. We use them on a job, and it's like a little crane that, like, it looks like a spider, and it can fit through a doorway, like a 36-inch doorway, but then it unfolds and it can lift like 3,000 pounds and move it around. So,
wow.
yeah, that's cool. So yeah, that's like a brief tour of operations here.
All right, I appreciate it. We have a minute left.
A minute left. I hope all of you people who have watched or are watching these conversations, just take from them that everybody here is trying to follow their passion, and sometimes that doesn't always look like on paper success. But, you know, if the person is happy, then more power to them, I say.
Exactly. Yeah. And you know, it's funny you said, I was talking about that at the beginning, is the thing is about the journey. And many people are in different places about their journey, and we're trying to catch a little bit of it all.
Yeah, yeah. And sometimes you don't, some people, most people even, never get where they're going. Like, that's just a reality of, if you're running your own business, like, you have to be prepared to never actually succeed. But, you know, you make an impact, and you have as much fun as you can doing it. And, you know, that might be success. And I feel like for what I originally started out doing, I am doing way past it. So I'm just playing for extra credit now.
Congrats, and you are the only one that can judge your progress.
Absolutely, 100%.
So, yep, that's what it's about. And thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity.
The best of luck to you. Keep pushing. If you need anything, give me a holler. And when
Yeah.
I come to San Fran, I'm going to need help. So I'll
Okay.
look you up.
Yeah, let's talk about that offline. For sure.
All right, brother. Thank you very much.
All right, see ya.
Thank you all for tuning in. Good night.